This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There he is. How you feeling, Ira? You feeling good, my friend?
You know what? They're winning. Can't complain.
It was a good win last night, man. That was fun. I get it. They were out without Wes and Hill and Giannis and all that, but we were without Lowry and Tyler. Okay, all right.
And you know there've been
Deadman and massage gun Deadman.
That I'm staying away from. But there've been so many games when the opponents have been shorthanded and the Heat couldn't find a way. So Big O, you take it and move on. They lost to the Lakers without LeBron and Anthony Davis. They've had plenty of those games. That's the league this year. No one plays every game anymore. You get the W, you move on.
Hey, I thought Bam's wrist had a contusion.
You know what? There's something to be said about Bam Adebayo and what he did coming back from that. You know what? And Eric Spoelstra mentioned that after the game, Big O. Some players have to be out there. Some players, it means everything to play. You've seen it with some of the Dolphins. They have injuries, but they push through and they show up. Others don't.
Zoe, man. Yeah. Zoe was like that. And I think he's gotten he's got that Zoe in him. Actually.
He's a gamer. There are some guys, because of vanity, if they're not 100%, they don't want to be out there. Bam's the opposite. Bam, it kills him to sit on the bench.
I'm sorry, Byron Jones. I'm sorry.
It just kills Bam to sit on the bench in his turtleneck and watch others. He wants to get out there and play. That's the kind of gamer you want. That's what you need to see more of. And he took advantage of the situation.
Yeah. No, I was amazed. That dunk, and I'm like, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah.
You're going to dislocate your wrist.
Again, yeah.
Well, what are you doing here? And I'm just so, and Gabe Vincent, man, what can we say about Gabe Vincent? I mean, if Lowry, Kyle who? So 6 assists. I think he might have had 1 turnover, 2 steals. He shot 5 of 11 from 3-point range, career high, 28 points. That was fun to watch. And hopefully now he recaptures some of that magic that he had last year.
And now you're seeing a second team backcourt of him and Vic, who are gelling together. That's what we've been waiting for. That's why Eric Spoelstra has kept Victor Oladipo on the bench, even with others out. He wants to get players in their roles. And we're seeing that a little bit more. When they get healthy, all of a sudden, when Tyler and Kyle go to the bench, no drop-off. Those guys' chemistry, they spoke about it after the game. They're really playing in lockstep right now. And Spo said, look, that's why we ran in training camp. And then Vic missed the first 20 games of the season. Then you had Gabe miss about 8 games because of the knee soreness. You know, this is what you mentioned here in our Acura Pembroke Pines reports and Wednesday on our redrecover.com Inside the Paint is be ready at the right time. And if you have to sit early so you're ready late, do that. Man, Big O, you could see so many pieces. I'm not saying they're better than the elite in the East, but they're starting to get their ducks in a row. And that matters in midseason. You want to know by midseason, by the trading deadline of February, who are you? The Heat might be better than they were the first half of the season, and they might finally be getting that chemistry they need.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, that's one thing that the thing that we were looking for is the balance.
Yes.
Because while Depot was out, it was like, well, do you put Tyler back to, remember we talked about Ginobili?
Absolutely.
And we said, hey, listen, Tyler, Ginobili did it, and that conversation never was approached, obviously. And then Tyler kind of turned it up to say, yeah, I'm not going back there, okay? I'm not going back there. I'm staying right here. And I think that's why also, Spo had to address that question yesterday when he was asked. I forgot who asked it, but when he was asked about that, he said, no, we have the roles, and that's how we started with Depot. And I think that you want to kind of keep, Church and State separate there from the get-go, because if you start moving him back into the starting lineup and he starts to get intoxicated with starting, then you start having a situation here. But you're so right. Now when you start getting everybody else back, if you finally can get everybody healthy at one time, damn it, and have the starting unit, and now that reserve unit is starting to look like a completely different group.
It is, except for backup center. We know the Dedmon thing, even before the massage gun, we knew that wasn't working. Waiting for Omer Yurtseven, maybe Jovic comes around. So they still have to massage that and a power forward. So you're seeing it a little bit. It's interesting. Every time myself or Anthony Chang have tried to ask Vic about going for sixth man of the year, being a reserve, he's not there yet. He's still only 30. He still envisions what he once was. So you're going to have to massage that. Let me ask you this. I asked this to Kurt Heelan Wednesday on RedRecover.com Inside the Paint. I'll ask it to you on our Acura Pembroke Pines report. You're Victor Oladipo. Congratulations, Big O.
Thank you.
You have a $9 million player option for next summer with the Heat. Or you can go out and chase money in free agency. I think he's going to go in free agency. He's always thought a lot of himself. So the Heat have to weigh that. Is there a long-term Victor Oladipo, or do they realize they might get priced out of his market? It's going to be interesting. Vic has said all the right things about all the Heat have done for him and how they've resurrected his career. But Big O, you've heard this over the years. You thank teams, you tell them how great they are, and then the money talks. It's going to be interesting.
That's right, baby. And we've been around for all of this, from Isaac Austin to Eric Murdoch to Keon Dooling to Hassan Whiteside to whatever. People have come here to build their value over
Anthony
the
Mason,
years.
sure,
Yeah, all these guys. Tyler, was it not Tyler? Was it the other Johnson, the kid that went to the Nets?
Well, he signed the offer sheet with it. He signed the offer sheet with the Nets, Tyler Johnson, but then the Heat matched it. So he had that wanderlust. He got his money and his team, right?
Right, but that's what I'm saying, that plenty of players have used this platform to get either their games back on track,
correct,
or to just get on the damn radar, overall, and say, whoa, hey, that guy's, a pretty good player. Let's go sign him. And so this is not the first time. And if you're the Heat, you got to kind of balance this whole thing, right? You got to wait till the whole season plays out to see if, he is durable again now. You know what I mean? Because I think that's the key, because every night, I swear to you, Ira, one of the first things I look for in the box score is I go to see Depot's minutes, and I write it down. I write it down every time, 33 minutes in my notes. I have it right here. He's the only guy that I write minutes down just to see every night what he's doing and how he's playing. And to me, that was his first stage several weeks ago, that you saw the minutes building and they were there. The production wasn't there yet. Now we've seen it over the last few weeks that now the production is also there. He didn't shoot well last night, I think, right? I think he didn't have a great shooting.
He started off poorly, but in the fourth quarter, he gave you money points when needed.
Yeah, big time. By the way, he's been hitting big threes lately.
Yes, and he's been stepping into them. So I'm going to give you a math problem here, and I don't know if you have a pencil there or whatever. Here's the problem. Gabe Vincent's also an impending free agent. The perfect math for Ira Winderman, for me, maybe for Orlando Alzugaray, you can pay Kyle Lowry the almost $40 million he's due, or you can divide that money to pay Vic and to pay Gabe Vincent and get two players instead of Kyle. So it's going to be very interesting to see, does Kyle Lowry show enough over the second half of the season to make himself that valuable? That's the problem. That's the value, and it's terrible for the players in the NFL of non-guaranteed money. It doesn't work out. You got the signing bonus, you get dead cap money, but you get rid of it. The NHL has a rule, you pay someone 50% of their salary, they're gone. The problem for the Heat is they probably only can afford either to keep Kyle Lowry or to spend that money on re-signing Victor Oladipo, re-signing Gabe Vincent, better value there. You know what? You've spoken about this. You sometimes sign yourself into a hole with these contracts. You spoke about Ndamukong Suh with the Dolphins, and sometimes the huge money player is not as valuable as multiple contributors. That's what we're seeing right now. Bottom line, Gabe Vincent will be a free agent. Max Strus will be a free agent. And Victor Oladipo more than likely will be a free agent. And now you have Kyle Lowry sitting there one more year on the books.
All right. So first of all, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but let's play the hypothetical game right now. The hypothetical game is Oladipo stayed healthy throughout the rest of this season and into the playoffs and played and had a great year. The other hypothetical is that Gabe Vincent stayed healthy throughout, even though health is not really an issue with him. But let's just say he had a great year. Okay. And the same thing. So now They're both set for free agency. Okay, correct. Now, here we go. Are we going on the cheap route now? Can you do this? Can you re-sign both anyway? Go over the cap because they are your own guys.
And they're going to be over the cap, and they have bird rights, so legally they can do that.
Okay, so you go over the right and you become a tax team for 1 year. And then while you're unloading Lowry, that'll get you right back down again. So you really don't have to lose those guys if you really are committed to winning.
Okay,
and
Big
not
O, but
committed
Big O,
to taxes.
it comes down to price point. Gabe Vincent is a very nice player. We both agree with that.
Oh,
Duncan Robinson was a very nice player. Then you got to 16, 17, $18 million a year. You overvalued the player. So the problem
that's another topic. Let's just say you can agree to a reasonable price with Vincent and a reasonable price with Oladipo because they both want to stay. They both want to continue what they're doing here and growing, and their roles are going to grow with the team because eventually others will be phased out. So let's just say you can agree to reasonable contracts, not unreasonable deals, and then sign them and go over the cap.
Okay.
So then this will be a major criticism of Mickey Arison if he's not willing to do that.
Let me stop you here. You can consult with your accountant, Sean Stanley. So what's a reasonable first-year starting salary in your view for Victor Oladipo? Throw me a number, please.
What did he average? Give me numbers.
Okay, I'm saying if he gets the statistics that he's gotten to this point going forward, and you have to make an offer to Victor Oladipo on July 1st, spitball me here, Big O. Throw me a number. Your new contract is going to start at?
It's probably going to be somewhere in the 15 to 20 range.
Okay, I think you're right. I think you're right with $15 million. So ding, 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 you win there. Credit to Sean Stanley. Gabe Vincent, starting salary for next year in a new contract. Where are you going to start him?
He says $5. I say $9 million.
It's like the Price is Right game where you can't go over.
9 to 11.
I think 9 to 12.
No, I'm going to go to 9 to 12, actually. 9 to 12 million.
9 to 12 is what I'm saying. That's about the average salary, and that's fine. The problem is I think Victor Oladipo will chase the money and will chase a starting job because he still views himself as that. So there's the ego element to that.
Well,
but
you can't compete with that. You can't
I agree. At reasonable price points, you bring them both back. You don't overspend based on what they've done to this point, what they could do, and staying healthy. The Kyle Lowry thing really, really just sticks in your craw because, Big O, it's easy for you to tell Mickey Arison and Nick Arison to spend the money. But when you're a tax team, those salaries almost get doubled. So on the books, you're talking about Vic at 30. You're talking about Gabe at 24. And that's where the real life math sometimes gets in the way. I agree. You've developed guys. You've brought Victor Oladipo back from the dead. I think you'd want to continue that. But the luxury tax for this very reason that the league doesn't want you giving a massive deal to Jimmy Butler, massive deal to Bam Adebayo, massive deal to Tyler Hero. And at some point, it wants you to pay the price. And let's be honest with one other thing, okay, Big O? Mm-hmm. You have all those players. So you're bringing back, you have Bam, you have Jimmy, you have Tyler, you're bringing back Vic, and you're bringing back Gabe. I know you're a Heat fan. I know you follow them, but does that still make you an elite team in the East on the level of the Celtics, the Nets, and the Bucks?
No. But unfortunately, you don't have, unless you tell me you can use that money to get someone else, which you can't because Lowry ties you at the cap. So
and you're over the cap and only have exception money. You're correct.
Right. So then you don't have those options. Plus, you don't have draft picks. Right. So then you don't have other ways of improving yourself in trade ways and all that kind of stuff. So then what are you going to do in turn to your season ticket holders? You're going to say, well, we lose Gabe, we lose Oladipo because we're stuck with Lowry. And guess what, season ticket holders? Jimmy Butler will miss another 25 games next season. Please pay up. No, you can't do that, bro. This is why I love the Arison family. I respect everything that they've done. But this tax stuff and this shit drives me crazy. I don't like hearing billionaires cry poor. And when I hear all the writers and all the people that cover the damn Heat. And every time, so that has to be coming from somewhere where all of you guys are writing about this kind of stuff. It drives my ass crazy.
But
So
you
if
know what?
Depot, if Depot and Vincent are gone, and you're not willing to go over the cap for them because you have no other options to prepare the team and be better, and without them, I could also argue you're also going to take a step back.
Okay.
So you're not even going to be as good as you were this year, next year. How do you sell that to your fan base because your billionaire owner doesn't want to commit? No. Sorry.
But your billionaire owner and his son Nick are also managers of a business. So what I'm saying, what I'm saying is they go into the executive suite and they line up Pat Riley, Andy Ellisberg, Adam Simon, the rest of the front office, and they say, hey, I know we should pay these guys, but you guys did the Duncan Robinson deal and signed off on it.
And Lowry.
You guys did these other contracts and signed off on them like Kyle Lowry.
That's true.
Well, we can't keep compounding our financial mistakes. We are still a business, even though it's a hobby. So I get that. So
and the Arisons would have 100% right to say that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
they're right.
What you're saying is Big O has been blaming all season on our Acura Pembroke Pines, the ownership suite.
No. I blame both. I blame Riley too for as we know Riley's a giant. We love him. He's awesome. But the last few years, he has allowed folks to run the franchise for him. When like LeBron tells he gets pissed because you trade Mike Miller or you got to go get Shabazz Napier for him, or now this guy you got to go get Lowry for him. Whatever happened to Riley, the hard ass? Like, no, dude, I run the organization, not you guys. You guys play, you guys earn your money. I'll decide who comes and who goes. And that part that has kind of softened on Riley, that's actually been a detriment to the organization, that he hasn't been the hard ass that he's always been throughout his career.
And I agree. And he's gotten very sentimental with his players. The Heat have fallen in love with their prospects. But you know what? And even guys like Duncan Robinson, prospects, if hopefully you're watching, start down here and maybe move to a middle level. Very rare is the prospect who starts down here and becomes a superstar, the undrafted player, the G League player, Caleb Martins, guys like that. They have a level, where they'll meet their level, where water will meet its level. And the Heat still continues to hope to get more. And it's great to keep developing. But at some point, you've got to realize there's a certain level. The other part is overstating the older player's ability through conditioning and drive to continue, like a Kyle Lowry, where he's leveled off, and he's probably right now not in the top 20 point guards in the NBA. So you got stuck there also. But
he might not be top 10. He might not be top 10 in the G League.
Well, I'm not going that far because that's ridiculous. But what I'm saying is the Arisons have provided the money. Big O, they are always operating above the salary cap. Always way above the salary cap. The luxury tax is a different threshold. It comes with other penalties, including down the road when you're trying to protect the future for Tyler Hero and for Bam Adebayo. That's why when you talk about great organizations, you have to have great players, great coaching staff, great front office, great ownership. And you can see if even one of those four is off a little bit, you wind up staggering a little. I think that's where the Heat are right now. They are very good across the board. Arison's great owners.
Wasn't the ownership group the part that kept the other Tyler?
Which Tyler?
The Johnson Tyler, right?
Yeah. Well, no.
Wasn't that the story that Mickey was in love with the kid and he said no?
I think that's been mistold by some of these people. I think that's a matter of Mickey telling Pat, if you really believe that, you can do that. I don't think the ownership group was overwhelmed with that. I think it was another emotional.
I've never really heard of Mickey meddling. Like
he doesn't, but he sets guidelines, and Nick Arison sets guidelines, and he says, look, there are basketball practices and there are business practices. Let's make both work so we can remain viable and strong going forward. That's good ownership. That's good management. Your mistakes cannot be compounded. There's a saying in sports, you don't chase lost money. Hey, you made a mistake with Kyle Lowry. That doesn't mean that you can't be afraid to sign someone else. But they work together. It's a salary cap league. It's a luxury tax league. It's a salary cap exception league. You only have so much money to spend. All the people early in the year, You blew it. You didn't bring back PJ Tucker at 36 years old and give him $30 million. No, you brought back Caleb Martin at 26 and gave him $20 million. And in the end, that'll work out. So you have to work in lockstep with all the groups also.
Yeah, just don't play him at power forward, the poor kid.
Oh, hey, 6'5", he's taking his bumps and he's still coming back for more. He has that kind of spirit.
What a tough kid, bro. I feel bad for him. I mean, I'm glad he got his money, but damn, here's your money. By the way, we're going to put you somewhere where you really don't belong and you're going to take a beating. Play power forward. Huh?
Right. As soon as Sunday, Caleb meet Giannis. Giannis meet Caleb. Exactly. On Saturday, rather. Yeah.
Yeah. And now we get Milwaukee again. At least we'll get Giannis on Saturday, right?
Completely different game. I'm working on a story in the Sun Sentinel about that. Last night's game, Thursday night's game, will not resemble Saturday at all. Chris Middleton is expected back. Wesley Matthews, completely different playing style. I think the Heat will have players back also, possibly Caleb, possibly Tyler. So what you saw on Thursday, you won't see on Saturday.
Every time I see Wes, I just think of his dad. Every time. And I can see him in a Lakers uniform dribbling his way out of bounds or out of a play or something. I used to call him out of control Wes Matthews. That was my nickname for him. So there you go. All right. Remember, it's MGD now when you address him. When you walk up to Dwayne, you say, MGD, how you doing? And when he looks at you, say, MGD, yeah, Massage Gun Deadman. Okay, so that's the new name now, MGD. You good with that?
You talk with a lot of confidence, but you actually stand in front of the opposing Dwayne Dedman and say that, and then we'll discuss the nickname.
You know, if I was in there for a couple of weeks, you know that I'd end up screwing with them like that. You know that, right? I'd end up doing it. And then
you wouldn't be back for the next couple of weeks, but you'd be recovering in the ER.
Yeah, but it would be in a joking manner. By the way, does he have a sense of humor? Is he kind of or is he a total stiff in the locker room? Is he kind of all Mr. Serious?
He's been fine with me, but he has a knack of getting irascible. And just like all of us guys who are married and have wives, you have to know the moment when you can joke and kid and the moment when you just stay the hell clear.
Right. Oh, okay. So he's one of those kind of, then I wouldn't be able to get that far with him, unfortunately, now. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to he wouldn't have a sense of humor about the massage gun.
I'd be careful, my friend.
Yeah, okay. All right. Well, some guys, you can end up joking with them after those kind of incidents. They'll laugh about it after, but all right. I guess he's not that guy. All right. What do you got going on the Sun Sentinel again? Tell him.
Well, I just finished a fun little story. Pat Connaughton, first play of last night's game, gets a margarita dripped in his eyes. He has it all over his uniform. The salt gets in his eyes. Fouled on a 3-shot foul by Hayward Highsmith, makes only one free throw. He spoke about he's never experienced that before. He's not a drinker, didn't even know what's in a margarita. Now he has the full ingredients mix on his Bucks jersey. So I sort of went back and reflected on that moment. Later, I'm going to post a story about how Sunday's game, like I said, had nothing to do with Thursday. Completely different look probably for both teams. And in my Ask Ira, I spoke about what we spoke about, the combination of Oladipo and Gabe Vincent, how it's working so well together. Can that become a thing over the second half of the season?
And by the way, why was he cleaning his face with a margarita?
You know what? Once it got spilled there or whatever, you might as well take all the lime into account and enjoy the moment. So
I thought he was just saying it's water and oh God, it's a margarita. And there you go. All right. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. Catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Ira, as always, thank you, my friend. Have a great weekend.
Catch you Monday in our Acura Pembroke Pines report. Thanks, Big O.
You got it, baby. There you go. The great Ira Winderman. All right. That is our Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA reports.